do this.
All right, you gonna make it?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. What are we gonna call this cooking show?
I don't know. Cooking with Rose. That sounds like something I would watch.
Okay.
Cooking with Rose.
All right.
We're gonna be making dough today.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right. Who's starting, me or you?
I mean, I guess me. One, I'm not a cook at all, so I wouldn't even know where to start at.
Man. Okay. Well.
Is this a spoon?
That's a spoon. Yeah. Like, is that where I start? Well,
Smitty did it, nigga. You can't tell, like it's can't see a book. Also, you can see it, just enough that can't see
mine's in my room typically where nobody sees me.
Yo, y'all know what it is. The one and only Moody Wuz here, and we back in the building. This is episode 2 of Moody Wuz Here, and man, I'm excited about tonight. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever you think about doing a podcast, you think about all the guests that you want to have, and I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the first person that came to mind.
Me?
You.
Thanks.
Why? Because I want all the tea, of course. This is the best.
He really just wants the
This is
drama.
I do want the drama. I want the scoop. I want everything
Don't
that
worry.
comes with it and everything, man. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight up in Moody Land. But like I said, we got somebody special in the building, man. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this thing rolling. I'm gonna give you a proper introduction, because if anybody needs a proper introduction, it's definitely you. I don't know if you know how much I think of you, but you're gonna find out tonight how much I think of
All
you,
right.
man. So DJ King Vic, A-State's #1 DJ, man. You know what I want to hear. Let me get that intro real quick so I can bless Rose properly. I love this part. I always wanted to be the Chicago Bulls announcer.
Yeah.
Here we go. And now. You hear that? And now, once again in the building, it's the one and only Moody Wuz Here! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That was good.
And in the building tonight, we got none other from Jonesboro, Arkansas. We talking about the queen, the twisted empire queen, the one, the only, out of the concrete grew nothing but a rose. When they tried to throw dirt in her name, all she did was just elevate herself, the one and only Rose Hankins!
That was awesome.
Rose, you don't think you deserve that?
Thank you.
That
Sometimes it's hard to let yourself, you know.
Hey, don't be shy in here. No one is shy in here.
No shy here.
This is not the night to be humble by any means. I need you to speak what you want to say. You know, it's okay to be cocky in this household. Some people say I'm cocky. I haven't seen it yet.
You don't see it from yourself?
I don't see it for myself.
I know. I do the same thing.
Most definitely. So, as I start, like I said, like I always start, and I say always as if there's more than one episode, my first question is, are you happy?
Oh, that's a loaded one. But
Is
to be real, am I happy? Yes, because I try to always envision myself at a worse spot than I am. I could be unfed. I could be, and people say, oh, that's dramatic. It's really not. Like, could have no roof over my head, could be unfed. So am I happy? Yes. But do I battle mental, daily struggles, depressions, feelings and emotions that I got to rise out of literally every minute, every day? Hell yeah.
No, I get that, most definitely. In regards to, like, for us, like, your happiness, obviously, you know what I'm saying, we'll get into it. You know, I know a little bit about your story for the most part, but I just want to know in regards to just finding that happiness again. I know there had to be a journey and everything. So just what kind of advice would you give someone who may not be happy? Like I said, earlier this week, I took a poll and just kind of asked people where they happy, and it wasn't all yeses, and I like a all yes type of environment. So based on where you're at in your life right now, if I needed to be happy,
How do you get there?
How do I get there? Help me out.
Yeah. Well, first off, had no clue. Okay, I've been so busy, just kind of mind blown lately. Like and then I sit down last night. I'm like, do you know today was the day that I left Nashville and came home 2 years ago?
Oh, this is so perfect.
Weird, huh? So I'm like, okay, I know why you've been keeping me busy. You didn't want me to think that I lost everything 2 years ago. You're so funny. Because I was like, man, what is up? Why am I, like, not right now. I literally forgot about what happened to me 2 years ago, but not last year. Last year I sat in a deep, dark depression for 3 days and never came out of a hole. So I'm doing much better, but it's been 2 years to this day, literally. And it's been I didn't even wear mascara in case I cried a million times. But I didn't
wear any either. So
you didn't wear yours either?
No, I didn't. I just like...
It's a daily... I always thought I self-motivated or self-medicated, worked on myself on a daily basis until you go through something real terrible. You find out you're not doing those things you think you are. Yeah, I know one of the guys from the gym, and I'm like, yeah, I was strict. I had routine. I'm cool. I'm a cool cat. And then when something takes you to your knees, you're like,
it's a wrap.
Wow, I got to go back to, can I wake up and say, you have got to go to work today? No, you can't. You have to feed yourself today. You have to pay your bill at the end of the week. No, you don't really get a choice. So it's been a lot of alone time. I literally, for the first 6 months, did not even go to Walmart. I had my workers go to Walmart. My parents, I didn't even go out in public for like 7 months.
I was definitely about to ask you that in regards to just...
it had nothing to do with going in public. It just
didn't?
I like barely could even get to work and home.
But did you go in public? Did you go to Walmart prior to it?
Prior, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
So they had something about going in public.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, definitely understandable by any means. Like I said, we'll dive into your story, like I said, a little bit more for those who don't know or anything. But like I said, I get in regards to like the not going in public and everything, and especially having a certain type of discipline. Like I said, I've watched you from afar.
Discipline, being happy as a discipline.
Oh my gosh, like most certain. Like I said, just being in the health and wellness, I feel, and like I said, we both been fitness experts.
Experts.
Yeah. Who've been in the
Hey,
game
I still make a paycheck off of it.
That's
Okay, I'm some kind of expert. Woo!
We've been in it for a minute. So, like I said, you've been one of those persons that, like I said, I've always watched, and like I said, you were always the one that was like always head down, always on the grind and everything. So I can't even imagine just like being able in your position to where one day, you know, you're not that person anymore. You're the person that normally is giving out the, you know, the advice, the motivation, and then whatnot. So, like, how did it go from you being that person, giving it the motivation and everything, and then needing that motivation? Was there something that you outsourced? Did you reach out for other people? Was it more just self-motivation and everything? What kind of helped you get to that?
Yeah, good one. I had like 8 people majorly affected, right? On my management staff, my entire family worked for me. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister-in-law. Like I was all their paychecks. I love it. So, you know, the first thing people said is you need to get a therapist out. And I was like, no offense, but a human did that to me. So if a human can do that to me, and some of the therapists I know, like I know their problems. I don't really want to go to them for them to fix me because they're not even fixed, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody like even said, if you don't go get help, like we're not going to support you to get back on your feet. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to be starting from the ground up by myself, like a little 16-year-old that's like, you ain't going to tell me what to do.
No, definitely.
Because I was just really headstrong on like, I'm going to dig myself out of this hole, not because I can or not because I just think I needed to. I think I needed to because I thought that might be the only way I survived. Because my mental and depression was so bad. I didn't think sitting across from you could be like, it's okay, you're okay. It's not okay. Why don't you just tell me, hey, you really got screwed, and it's not okay.
Because you did.
Yeah, so I wanted to do it myself. And once a couple weeks down the road, I'm like, you can't tell me not to cry. You can't tell me not to scream. I hit walls. You can't tell me not to do that because at some point you got to get those emotions out because I would just sit at home with family, but I tortured them too. So now I'm trying to hold my emotions in to keep my sanity for them because I know they're going through something as I'm going through. Right. But they're my parents. They're supposed to be there for me. But I've now taken away their paychecks. And they're like, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, baby. I'm like, you now can't live, and I definitely can't live.
Right.
And now I can't. Now I've told them that it was just terrible. So most people did get a therapist, but I still have not to this day.
No, and I definitely get that. Just getting to the point that people are just to go to therapy and everything. It's still pretty taboo for the most part. As much as we like publicly promote it and everything, it's still behind closed door. People still don't go to therapy by any means.
And it works or something.
It do. And like I said, I have no reservations again. And like I said before, it's like at some point, whenever you hurt into a certain extent, you know, you want to see a professional, you want to see a doctor somewhere in that lane. And one of the things that you just pointed out, and before we dive into your story a little bit more, is you said something to the extent to where like the people that you thought about possibly reaching out to for support or maybe advice or something that you knew what they were going through as well. Like you knew them pretty much personally. And that was something that I noticed as well that I did myself during my period. It was like, I was judging. For me, I knew I was judging them. I was like, man, how they going to fix me when they messed up themselves? You know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those things. Did you ever get to the point, you know, that you felt any type of, I mean, for me, I felt like a little bit guilty about that. You know, it's like, how do I expect, it's like I wanted perfect people to fix me. And there's no such thing that's like perfect. So it's like I was placing my judgment, like looking at their lifestyle and looking at them and saying, oh, they can't help me because essentially because they're not perfect. So how did you get to a point to where you did allow those imperfect people in your life?
Well, see, at Twisted Foods, I thought I was perfect. And that might have been a lot of problem. That was a lot of self-help for me. I was the top professional to come to get a diet. You know, I had 480-something clients. So, but I also lived the perfect disciplined lifestyle back then. Like, I still struggle to this day because I write diets, but I don't live a perfect diet anymore. But I think that's more beautiful because as hard as I was on those girls in boot camp, and I'd be like, I don't really care that you wanted to eat that last night. Like, you just should. You just put it down. It's not that hard. But it is that hard when you take on life stressors. I had a perfect life growing up. Mom and dad that raised me in church, took me to church, cared for me, made me get my own car, made me pay my own bills, made me have a responsibility, but for the most part, took the best care of me. You know, put me out in the real world. I knew how to take care of myself. I didn't have anything bad go wrong, you know. Luckily, I didn't get in any trouble as a kid, although I should have. You know, like drinking and driving one too many times. You know, I got lucky.
Right.
And so at Twisted Foods, I thought I'm a perfect professional. I work out twice a day. I have a perfect show body. I can write diets. I can clean, you know. But when it all goes away and gets stripped away, your title gets stripped away. So my professional title technically got stripped away. So people have to look at me as imperfect and still love and accept me and take my service.
No, I definitely get that. And I mean, that's good though. And like I said, I've always heard about you and I always seen about you in your passing. And one of the first things they either say is like, she's tough, or they say like, man, she's like a bitch, but she's worth it. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they always like, man,
I've been waiting.
Oh yeah, like that's one of the you hear about that. That's the most consistent thing you can hear. But like I said, they look at you like a general. Like the people that you had under you, and like I said, they might have, thought you were tough in a sense or whatnot, too tough at times, but man, people respected you. They respected that worth that and everything that came with you. And even like you said, just growing up, you didn't have any conflicts that you faced that were too strenuous to the fact that you couldn't overcome it. And just finding that your identity did lie. Who did that? That's okay. Shout out to a live stream. Why is she not watching this? That's what we need to be asking. She was one of those people who didn't support because she's not doing. She's supposed to be watching this right now.
Well, she probably is, and baby niece is going row, 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 row. But I thought when you're live, it wouldn't let a phone call come through.
No, it's all good though. But like you said, speaking like I said, hello to sister and the family and everybody else. You came in a family that, like I said, was there for you. A lot of people don't have that privilege, you know what I'm saying, to just come up in a family who supported and, along with you the way. And like I said, you were responsible for, like, everyone in your family. And I'm glad that you also said, just for us, like, touching on losing your identity. And because that's something I can relate to. Whenever the walls kind of crashed down on me, it was one of those things to where I realized how much of my life and my identity that I saw in myself was trapped in my title. Like who I was, who Moody was to like everybody else in the city.
That's all anybody knew me as.
And that's getting the same.
They didn't call it Twisted Foods. They said, "You been to Rose's place?" I'm like, "It has a name."
Exactly. That's the most countryest thing that everybody do. Nobody calls stuff by his actual name. They just call about whatever they know the person of. So and so lived down at Junior's house down the street or something like that. But for those who do not know, like I said, you had one of the most publicized stories, like I said, in regards to local and whatnot. I remember the day for certain that it came out. 'Cause like I said, it was all over, of course, Facebook. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things that it grabbed my attention. I was like, oh, here goes a post about Rose. Initially, I'm thinking it's something to the extent that, you know, you were opening up something new. I found out about the Nashville venture, so I'm thinking it was something in that sort. And you know, I'm thinking, oh, it's another Rose post. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And that's when I started to find out that as I finally did a little bit of reading to see that you had that your business partner at the time had been indicted, and basically for, if I'm not mistaken, a sum of some to the extent of like $1.4 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dollar bills.
That's a lot of dollar bills.
Like, I know that day, whenever it had started happening, like, can you kind of take me through that day? Like, you wake up that day, I'm sure it was a normal day. That's a normal, perfect day for you.
Happened on Meal Prep Monday.
Meal Prep Monday, also known as Moody Mondays. Don't forget that. So can you walk me through that day? Because I can imagine just.
That first day?
Yeah, where did that phone call come from? Like, take me through it, because I've always been curious to it.
Man, it's a long story.
I'm with a long story.
I'm just kidding. It's not too terribly long. It's so fast because he was arrested and taken to jail. So we're Meal Prep Monday. It's our second week open in Nashville, okay? I've spent 6 months driving to Nashville, sitting out in the summer heat from I got there at 10 a.m. till I let people pick up at 5, trying to build my clientele just to pay my rent because Nashville's expensive.
No, I heard.
So I'm just meeting these clients, sweating like a dog. Here's your food. See you another week. These people were letting me give them food out of a plastic bag in Nashville.
I love it.
I'm like, my store's right here. You know, so we open. We're on our second week. Like I said, COVID. They just extended COVID another time. Like, it was so bad in Nashville. The riots had just started. So imagine just the riots.
Yeah.
I think the week before, they burned down the Nashville downtown, like, courthouse piece of it. They shut a whole piece down. So this was like High Point. So imagine High Point, okay? Nobody's on the streets. It's terrible.
Got you.
And I'm like, I have this 6,000 square foot building I now have to pay for. Second Monday open. Barely got rent paid. And so my manager in Jonesboro was always told, you better be dying if you call me. At least on a Monday.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So if you're dying, I know I need to pick up the phone.
Right.
You know, so 6:30 in the morning, getting there. Our first Monday was so terrible. So terrible. Now, in Jonesboro, they could do 120 meal preps in a day, which could be like 3,000 meals. So in Nashville, we had maybe 25, 30 people a day.
Okay.
It took us from 6:30 in the morning. We'd still be there at midnight. 20-minute break.
Oh my God.
Still working. So 6:30 in the morning, we're live in, hey, Jonesboro crew, what's up? We're starting our second meal prep Monday, whatever. Everybody's like, have a great day. I was like, yeah, we'll be here till midnight. Okay. And then about 10 a.m., I do remember that. I guess Jonesboro had already found out, and they were trying to figure out how the fuck to call Rose.
Oh, yeah.
So
We're going to find out first.
Mariah calls, and I'm like, actually, no. Cade calls.
Okay.
Cade calls me.
Oh, he called you yourself.
Yeah, and he never calls me. Okay, we're just business partners. We'll ask all that later, but he never calls me. So he called me, but I didn't answer. I'm like, Meal Prep Monday. He's really calling to bullshit with me on Meal Prep Monday. He knows my days. So then about 30 minutes later, though, Mariah calls me. Hour later, whatever it is, and she says, "Hey, we got to talk or whatever." But I didn't answer. My manager Siku answered, and so he comes back, says, "Rose, Mariah says we got to go outside," and I'm like, "Boy, she better need something good." I walk away from this line. They haven't even got lunch break. We got to keep moving. Well, I go outside, and she just says, "Cade's been arrested." Like, I don't think she knows any other way to say it.
Right.
And I went, "Okay, what do you want me to do about it?" My exact words about to her, and she's like, well, he's been arrested and he's not getting out. And so, because at this point, I'm thinking, maybe he got arrested for something stupid.
Right,
maybe he got a
DWI.
DWI. Like,
right.
I'm like, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah, definitely.
But then she says, he's arrested and he's not getting out. And then I just kind of breathe, and then she finishes the sentence. He's been arrested for stealing $1.4 million from the county.
Oh, my God.
And so then my heart left me. And I look, because I'm in this busy part of Nashville, not busy now, but I look and I'm like, I'm in a town I know nobody. I'm by myself. I now have 2 locations, and I'm an individual who mommy and daddy did not pay the bills. I'm paying mommy and daddy's bills.
Right.
So what am I going to do? I said, well, so I don't even know what to do. I just said, well, it's Meal Prep Monday. I still have 25 people to prep, and I've got a full staff of like 15 people. I said, I can't turn in to Kate Holiday today.
All right.
So I got to get back in here and work.
All right.
That didn't go well. I walk back in that kitchen, and you imagine trying to get some news like that at work? I come back in, and everybody's like, hey, and I just start sobbing. I mean, ugly sobbing.
You was hard
like,
for the first 5 minutes.
What's wrong? What's wrong with her? What do we do to make her mad? Sorry, boss. I mean, this is their like second week with me, you know. They even came to Jonesboro train, so they didn't really get to know me because I was in Nashville and they trained with Jonesboro crew.
Oh, I got you.
So, so I started sobbing and crying. Everybody's like, you okay? I'm like, it's fine. We got to get through this. But, I mean, it wasn't even 10 more minutes. Here come the phone calls.
Oh, I bet. First
one's a construction crew. Hey, you owe us, $400,000. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out together. So I'm like, well, that's a blessing. Thank you.
That
I'm
is
crying.
a blessing. You got some good friends. $400,000.
No,
hey, we'll worry about that. Don't even worry about it. Just
that's not what they said.
I know it's meal prep Monday, so keep
That's
it
only what they said on the first day.
That's all for certain.
But then news anchors started calling. People wanted to know what I knew, what Rose knew, and I'm like, and then so everybody's like, somebody from the county reached out and was like, hey, you need to go get a lawyer. You need to get a restraining order.
And this is all the first 24 hours?
Oh, I'm not even at 2 p.m., Jeez. We finished those 25 people. It's terrible because I'm literally at this point, when you cry so hard, your eyes just kind of close a little bit and they burn. So now I feel like I've been up for 5 days. And when we counted numbers on the line, it was a little bit different because there was no cookie cutter meals. Like if you came down the line and you wanted 40 carbs and 5 fat, we had to count that food all the way down the line. There was no automated buttons. I couldn't afford that. There was no programs. Like you didn't know that till it got to the end. And then I would look at it and go, yeah, that's probably right. And then they'd click their buttons and print a ticket out, right? But these were like high school kids printing these buttons. So like major management that's how I started Jonesboro. I was going to do the same thing. Ready to put my 2 years in of just like look down.
Rinse, wash, and repeat
so I just kept having to run outside. And, everybody kind of knew what was going on, my management staff at least. And they held their shit together. I mean, you're talking about now these were adult men who had run 5-star restaurants. One of them had lost their job due to COVID and came to me. One of them had opened multiple restaurants from small business owners. I mean, they acted like nothing happened. They carried that store so well.
Oh, I'm pretty sure, like I said, especially coming in that industry, I'm sure they've seen a couple of fires, but even still, on any day that you all of a sudden hear that your partner has been like indicted, especially in regards to embezzlement or something like that.
And that was the county. We didn't even know. We were like, what's next?
No, exactly.
What's us? Uh-oh.
But you said that he did attempt to call you, obviously, like first.
Yeah, but what was that phone call?
I was just going to so did y'all ever have a conversation?
No, he's arrested. It's either...
I mean, he get like a one call. I mean, I don't know how jail set up these days.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he could call. But was he calling just to bullshit? Or was he calling to say, hey...
Like I fucked up?
Your life's over, and I'm just saying I apologize now before I go my 20 years. Like, which one was he calling for? So... People always used to ask me, what would you ask him? And for 2 years, I never knew until one day I woke up and I was like, I'd ask him why he called me. I want to know why he called. Maybe he was just calling to... They said he had no clue he was getting arrested, right?
But you said, okay, I mean, I'm not finna sit
He had no clue. I think they say the county, it was last minute. He tried to run payroll early, and there was a red flag.
Gotcha.
But there was no red flag because there was a 14-page lawsuit written up in 3 hours. No way.
No, not at all.
So,
is that okay? So, I mean, we don't know how life the next day is going to bring and everything or whatnot, but is that a conversation do you feel like you still need to have? Is there some type of closure that you feel like you have? Because, like I said, I'm not sure, in regards to like the business partnership, how close y'all were. Were y'all have any type of like a personal relationship of any type of sort?
Not the craziest thing, knowing him we grew up together in elementary.
Okay.
So, his mama was our lunch lady. She lunch lady with my grandmother. Mama worked at the school. She was the secretary. Like, we knew each other. Okay?
The most small town.
Yeah.
I love it.
But good friends, no. I mean, Cade was a weird fellow. Everybody's like, what? So I was the prime suspect first, right? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, and the county's like, well, everybody's like, you got to come home. You got to be investigated. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know Cade like that. But when we started opening in Nashville, it was a year build out. Mm-hmm. That's when I really got to know him. Most of the time for 5 years, it was, hey, hi, bye, he'd fly in, get some food off the bar, or I'd call and gripe him out because I needed something done.
But y'all started together, so from day one.
About 6 months in.
Got you.
And then he said, I want to help you out. I want to be your CFO. Money stresses me out. Okay. As long as I got money to pay my bills, but if you're a real small business owner, you just don't make $1 million. Okay, so you always got to really watch your money what's coming out, going in, and that really stresses me out, especially working 14 hours a day. So he's like, let me handle that, and I was a sweat equity basically.
Gotcha.
So.
No, I'm with that, definitely. I understand that. In regards to still like just sticking with that and just for us like having that conversation with him, down the road, obviously, you know, he affected your life in so many different ways, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, like you said, you had a perfect, somewhat of a perfect life starting out, and then just up to that point, you know, that was the biggest downfall that you had, you know what I mean? And that's a big downfall. Like I said, we watch everyone locally just watch you build that business up. And like I said, I had already got wind that you already branched out and expanded to Nashville. Do you look at him and even if y'all do have a conversation one day, is there going to be some type of hard feelings? I mean, I'm sure to be some hard feeling, but is there going to be hard feelings to the extent that you feel like you would need him to somehow make up for, not even just monetary wise? Obviously, he can't do too much, you know what I mean? But is there something he could do? Because that's one of the biggest things. It's like, you know, people affect us in our life. They affect our mental health. So whenever someone like does that, they're the prime suspect. And in this case, it's just one person. So you can point to it was him that sent me down this downward spiral. Is there something there that you feel that y'all could have that closure, or
I would get closure, because it taught me the most of like, yes, Cade messed up. I also learned that I messed up a lot in life, of just like when your mom or your boss or whatever, you just mess up all the time. It's like, I got my kid in trouble and it me too. For me, it's the same thing. My kids were my workers. Like literally, we said I love you when you leave work. It's like, Albert, what you say to me? All right, I love you too. And that's how we left work. So these were my kids. It didn't matter if they were a 40-year-old man or a 35-year-old woman. These are my kids. So I learned a lot from that as far as that goes. But I would take just Cade just saying I'm wrong and like I'm sorry. Like that would help me, because if you don't have that closure, it just lingers and you wonder, and all those little pieces of the pie that you just want to put away, it just doesn't go away. So yes, he could say I'm sorry, and that would be closure for me. I'm going to hold hard feelings, of course, but at the same time, truly, a sin is a sin. It doesn't matter how much you mess up. Sure, he cost me my whole life, but I still forgive him. And I wrote him that in an email once, and then he told the lawyer to have me quit messaging him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I found his email. Who wouldn't email him? But it's illegal if you're in a lawsuit, because I sued him, to email the person. But I did. I just reached out as nice as I could, right? Because he left me with he left me with $120,000 of cash debt that was to be paid off, with over $800,000 in bill debt that mostly got put off, waived. So when I found his email, the first thing is like, as nice as I could, because I need something from him, right?
My money. I feel like I need my paper.
Hey, I know what you've done. It's okay. Hopefully you were going through something.
Right.
Maybe something bigger that we'll never understand. But I just need you to know that I will forgive you, but you could at least come forward and take care of all this.
Yeah, most definitely. I definitely understand that in regard. Man, I just hit myself in the mic. I know that was one of the things in regards to that story. It was, for me, it was like kind of like watching like one of those like Netflix special type of deal.
I said that's what I am. I'm a Netflix special now.
It was so unreal.
What do
it
you want to
happened
name
so
it?
quick. I couldn't even believe it.
Except he'll be the one making $1 million off of Netflix. That's gonna be a sad part.
That's it. That's how it's you're gonna get the Netflix show once they pick up your story, and then everything that you lost, you're gonna recoup from that.
Yeah.
Trust me. I'll be the director, producer, so make sure you cut my check, all right? No
Got it written down.
Most definitely. We're going to take a quick break real quick. I want to get back into part 2 of that story a little bit more, and so we can dive in more, just focused on you and everything. But in the meantime, between time, Moody was here, man. Y'all make sure y'all, I don't know what DJ King Vic is telling me. He said don't cut off. Most definitely, man. But in between time, like I said, DJ King Vic wanted me to remind the live viewers that the music will be off, but stay tuned. We'll be back real soon. All right, Moody was here. Yo, y'all know what it is. We back in the building. Moody Wuz here, and yes, we are in the building with none other than Rose Hankins. Man.
Hello.
That first part was, I'm still ready to get a little bit more out of that. It's like my tea fix ain't there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's just dive back into it. So like I said, you're in Nashville the other day, and everything's kind of falling apart, you know, right before your eyes and everything. Who was the first person that you reached out to?
No one. I didn't have any, you know, well, my mom, but the worst part is nobody. Hey, I know I was going to sing tonight. My mom, but also I felt guilty reaching out to my mom because I'm like, my mom is that lady that feels your pain. And when I cry, she cries.
I got you.
And it was just, it was terrible because here's mom. Honey, it's going to be okay. We're going to figure this out. I'm like, and I'm in the Nashville parking lot screaming at her like, Mom, we have lost everything. It's not okay. I just lost your bit, you know. And she's like, Rose, the good Lord's going to take care of us. And I'm like, if you say that one more time, Donna, I'd lose my mind on that little lady.
Oh, my God.
But who's that positive, you know, in something like that? That's my mom.
Right. I mean, you got to have someone there. Like I said, in the moment, you don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to God. Don't hold that against me. Don't hold that against me. You feel me? But it's definitely something like, you know, you really don't want to hear that positivity initially and all that. Because, you know, it's to the point that it's really unreal at that point.
Yeah.
You already have already realized that it's not going to be a quick turnaround. So just for us, like, there's no even need me giving, like, any, like, encouragement right here. That road is so far now at this point, I, like, don't even know where to go to. But I'm glad that you also mentioned that because that's one thing that I noticed in myself that I didn't want other people to feel what I was going through. So it's like I kept myself away from sometimes just asking for that support or just getting that or speaking to people about it at all because I knew those people who in my life who were like empaths and like I said, they were going to feel what I want to feel. And like I said, at the end of the day, I didn't want anybody to feel that. You know what I'm saying? I knew how much I was hurting. And I knew the people that were beside me who were hurt just as much. So I was like, I didn't want to do that. Did you ever get to the point there where you were just like, you know what? They just going to have to feel this too. Like, or did you just kind of hold it on?
I'm that person. Well, this is what I also learned about myself. When you're meanest, you're worst to the people you love the most. You know, like you're going to let those raw emotions out. Those are the people I felt most comfortable with, obviously, to punch a wall and then walk out, you know, scream bloody murder at the top of my lungs out of nowhere. Like, those are the people I felt that comfortable with. So I made them feel it all along the way. But most time I didn't want to talk about it. I just needed to get those feelings out because I knew how to cope with it and I knew what I needed to do from all my discipline. But I lived alone or, you know, so was stuck in two different places. Knew I was going to have to go live with mom and dad for a little bit. No space. Nobody can have a conversation with you. It's like a really bad date because nobody knows what to say. So you ask the standard questions. Are you okay?
Right.
How are you?
Right.
Do you want to talk about it?
Right.
I mean, there was no question. I didn't want to go around anybody because I didn't want to answer those questions.
No,
because how are you? Fine. That's what we always answer. Fine.
I think that's one of the biggest things I've like for us, like just self improvement in my life, just making sure whenever I get around people who are going through certain things, just kind of like making sure I am aware of the questions that I'm asking them. Because like I said, everybody has like that prototype or that cliche, are you okay, are you this like that. So it's like we really don't ever know how to handle those situations. A lot of people don't know how to handle those situations. That's where I guess, you know, therapy comes in because they do know how to like ask the right question in order to kind of gauge you better, who actually want to gauge really how you're feeling. Because at the end of the day, if somebody's going to ask me, I don't care what's going on in my life. I don't care if like shit is just tornadoes, everything is going on. I can still look you dead in your eyes and be like, you know, it's all good. I'm good. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I'm
what
cool.
we're trained.
You know what I'm good. I'm good. What? This leg, I don't even need it. I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. You said,
this leg,
I don't even need it. What are we doing here? What do you mean? That's just athlete foot? Who cares about that?
Cut it off.
Cut that thing off for real, though. You said that during that time that you, or at some point you went to a 3-day stretch, you said, where you didn't leave. You was kind of like in the room. I would imagine just to yourself. Would you identify that as your darkest or your lowest point?
The beginning was my lowest point because I got on Facebook real quick and
oh yeah, you did.
I wanted to share with what was happening, but like day 3 into sharing, I wasn't going to sugarcoat it. So I'd get on Facebook and be epically crying.
Yeah, I'm trying not to laugh. Well, I definitely saw that
not
day.
the
I was like, I didn't. It was. You think speaking of like hard to see people, I couldn't watch you.
Because
I was
who
like,
does that? Who really gets? But that's the problem too with social media. Is it's all the influencers. It's all their best photos. You know, all the diet people. It's always the pictures when they're in diet, not
Right.
how they're actually
Right.
living. So the last thing I want to do is like get on social media and say, I'm okay. I'm going to rise up. Thank you, everybody, for your kind words. More so, I got on social media and just was like, I feel like I want to die today.
Yeah.
I don't feel good. I haven't been out of the house in 3 days. Like, why not? Do you want to hear my real experience? Or do you want to just say, pass me in Walmart. Hi, how are you? Fine, good. Hope you're well. See you later.
That's get like. When
And I was a social media girl.
No, most definitely. That's the thing. I like watched you and follow you. And that day when I saw you, I was like, oh damn. I'm like, she's human. And that's what really like stuck out to me. Like I said, up until that point, you was Rose Hankins. You know what I'm saying? And then when I saw you on there that day, just bawling. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like getting through your words. You was trying to get through your words, trying to get through your story and everything. And I was like, oh my God. It's like.
Because I wanted my side heard. But then political games start playing, and they're like, you can't talk about your side. You're not allowed to. So that's why I've kind of been quiet for 2 years, because it's only supposed to be positive or don't tell anything about what's really going on the backside.
Right,
So
I got you.
this was intriguing to me, and I still have one lawsuit down the pipeline. But if they come after me, I'm going for them. Because you're gonna make the criminal serve this time, and I will come blazing, bring it. I'm like, because it's not fair. It's not fair that I don't get to stand up, and half of Jonesboro knew Cade embezzled $1 million, but they didn't know he embezzled $1 million mine. Nobody knew that. Nobody asked. So I wanted to get on social media to make sure, because we didn't find out for a week, but then we found out he embezzling for 2 years. Was he practicing to do what he was going to do to the county? I don't know. But he started out small. Then we found out his mom had paid our payroll for the last 2 weeks. Why is your mama paying our payroll? And why is she paying the payroll and not speaking up? There's a lot of red tape that didn't get said, and while I was going through a lot of lawsuits, I wasn't allowed to talk about. They told me, literally, don't talk about it. It could hurt you in court.
Right.
I didn't ever have to go to court. Cade signed a $2.2 million settlement for me, and people they saw that in the paper and like, oh, you're rich. And I'm like,
Right.
I got a piece of paper that could burn away in a fire.
Don't mean nothing.
And unless he gets out of jail and makes $1 million skin, because he gets the county's million first.
Exactly.
But for me, everybody's like, business owners like, well, you don't have to sue him, save your money. And I said, so I had people leave corporate level jobs.
Wait, I'm sorry. I didn't even mean to cut you off. You said business people were telling you what?
Don't sue him. You know, save your money, because it's not going to do you any good. And it was $60,000 to sue Cade Holiday.
I believe it. Like I said, that type of level of lawsuit, and like I said, that type of crime, like I said, once you read a little bit through it, you know, I can imagine, like I said, the type of, like I said, red tape to go through that. Was that a hard decision? I'm assuming you made the decision not to.
Yeah, it wasn't hard, but it was hard. It took me a week before I decided to shut Twisted Foods down. Yeah, all my staff worked for free, knowing they were not getting paid. Showed up every morning at 6:30, until I could make my decision. They respected my time enough to. They knew I wasn't even in the building. They knew I was in Jonesboro, but we had 2 locations. We had my gym and my food, and they knew I was down in that office, and they all wanted to come hug me. But they all showed up and stayed until I made my decision.
That's love. I love
it. Was love. It's like I walked in one time to get food, and I was just surrounded by hugs and holding, and to see those people who were just as affected as me, you know, it may have hurt me worse, but they were just as affected because they were just invested. You're talking about people that left JCPenney corporate stability. My mom left Simmons Bank stability. My dad left a factory stability to pursue my dreams, because not only did my dream look cool, it was making it. And they're like, holy crap, she really is making it. I want on this dream boat of hers. So all these people got on this boat, and we were sailing off to sea, and then the bottom just dropped out. I mean, it's the best way to put it.
No, most definitely. I mean, that is the best way to put it. With you being such a family business, you know, you hear a lot of people tell you, like, don't go in business with your family and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, you know, you hear like all these worst case scenario stories and everything. Yours was, you know, and it's obviously a worst case scenario, but it wasn't of your fault. Would you go in business with your family again?
I would. We worked separately, though. So this was the best part. Mom ran accounts. Dad ran shipping. I ran the food prep. So we never even saw each other. People were like, is that weird working with your mom? I had to quit calling her mom, and for so many years I called her Donna. And so she was like, I just want my daughter back. Because it got weird yelling through her, Mom! Hey, Mom! And I'm running the place, so I had to say, Mom, I got to start calling you Donna.
I got
like,
you.
So I'd start Donna, and everybody like, that is so weird. You call your mom Donna. I'd be like, she'd come into work every day, be like, hey, Donna. And they'd be like,
that's what a
paycheck
paycheck
Donna
says.
again? That's what a paycheck says, doesn't it? Or when you got to get on to them, yeah, that's weird. You know, because that doesn't sit well. Trying to go, hey, this wasn't quite done right. And
how did you get to the point that where you're able to have, like, you know, I can imagine there were difficult conversations that had to be had, especially like in business. Because at the end of the day, you know, you're a business mind that you're going to be, like I said, that's your baby, that's your ship to roll. So, like, how did it, did y'all ever have any hiccups along the way in regards to, like, communication?
Oh, yeah, a million times.
Yeah.
Arguing, because I knew I could get on to my mom worse. So that's bad, and that's why you shouldn't, too, because you know you can get on to them right. They take it twice as hard because you got on to me.
Right.
They're like, I don't care if it was you or Joe Blow. Like, y'all still made the same mistake, and we got to talk about it, you know, but that's the awkward part because it's not easy to run a business. It's also not easy to run a business if you're trying to be friends with your workers, and I wanted to be everybody's friend. And that's where all the shit talk came from me is like, well, Rose is an asshole. Well, let's talk about why you think Rose is an asshole. Did you tell them that we were friends first? That's why you hate me, because then I got onto you for taking naked selfies in my bathroom? Oh, you forgot that one on social?
The tea. I love it.
Man, and the only negative, there was one hate group that stemmed my mom and my general manager from getting off Facebook forever because they got to suicidal.
You got a hate group? You had a hate group?
We had a hate group, and it got.
So
they
famous.
said I never read one message, but it was 600 messages deep. And Mariah's like calling me every day. I was like, if you call me and tell me one more thing, she's like, I'm driving around and I'm suicidal at this point. And I was like, and I am too. And I'm in another county and trying to stay away from this. I need to advise you to get off. And they did. They got off. They're still not on. They just could. But people don't have. Your words are words, and you can mess up. But your words are words, and you can always at least go back. I was a terrible boss all the time. Okay, it doesn't matter if I was getting on to you. I was a terrible boss. I'm doing my job because I was trying to be half friend, half manager, and boss. So I was the owner and the general manager for years and a boss. So anytime I made anybody mad, those were the only people in that hate group. And they had a story behind them, which was all of them have come back and said sorry now, except one.
One. Always
I'm down to one. I'm counting them. I saw them in public. I walked up and said, how you doing? Oh, you live here? Been back, you know, a year ago. I know you saw. I lost my life. I saw those Facebook comments about me losing my life. You want to talk about it? I'd love to. And I just killed them with kindness. You know, that was the best thing I learned about myself is I made a ton of errors as a boss, but not any more than a normal human being.
Right.
Because I got onto you that day because my stress level was at 92, and there was a person every day that called in. Well, there's only 30 days in a month, and we had 70 employees. So if you can imagine at least one person a day, I not only was the owner, then the general manager, then I had somebody's job, whether it was dish, whether it was cook, whether it was bake, whether it was a spot of the meal prep line. So I always had to hold down 2 jobs, plus 400-something people having my phone, plus leading a crew to the best of my ability. So, of course, that's all. UPS even came by one day. Was like, I'm going to be your new UPS guy. Heard you're a bitch. Hello.
I'm telling you, it's like word gets around. That's what everyone's saying.
You're not an entrepreneur and a quiet one.
No,
and
for
if you
real,
are,
though,
you're not really out there slinging a crap ton of money or everything. Everybody's doing everything for you. But I did everything for myself.
Word.
But that's how the only way I knew to sling money. I mean, I held 2 jobs from boutique days to nursing days to, but I learned how. But I also didn't know for 6 years my money was being embezzled. So everybody's like, so we really had a lot more money? I'm like,
oh, yeah, for sure. That's the biggest thing, like the biggest misconception on the outside looking in. That everyone, I feel like whenever you're a business owner, no matter what you're doing, they automatically just think you're rich or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like as long as they see anybody.
You're not on vacation?
I'm like, I don't even get what y'all are looking at right now. And that's the biggest thing I tell everybody. I felt like for the longest, I had my head down, not even aware of kind of like what was going on in my surroundings. So like I said, it's a daily grind every day. It takes so much to just to operate every day, just to make something like happen. Even just like the setup right now, just like it takes a lot to even get to this point for us to sit across to each other and have this conversation. It's not just, oh, let's just walk in, set up a couple cameras and everything like that, and boom, we're good to go. There's a lot of preparation that comes in that. And the preparation costs money. So it's like, I'm like, I don't know why they don't think we have bills. Like the more money you make, more bills, like that. More money, more problems. That's it. Shout out to
and that
Biggie.
Don't ever want more money again.
Oh my, really?
Yeah, I learned too where I'm comfortable at. I don't more money, more problems. It is not a joke. We were running $1.5 million when we went out, and it is just not a joke. I mean, at Nashville, I had gotten so bad. I mean, it was already so bad. People were like, "You're going to be 40 and die, Rose. Like you're going to have a heart attack at 40." Because I was just so, you could just see it. My voice even changed. I couldn't even make it come back to normal. I just couldn't even take care of myself, you know, because I was the operations of everything. And people just kind of forget the work that goes into it.
Most definitely.
Or some people just spend all the money they make. They don't care if they're left with anything at the end of the day. But I was too worried about paying all those people's paychecks. No,
definitely. Like I said, you had that extra motivation, say, with your family. But even still, like I said, whenever you're leading a team and managing the team, or like I said, just a staff, you know, a lot goes into that. Having that compassion to understand that, you know, you're putting that food on their table that night. So it's like it comes with an extra responsibility. And like I said, you know, I watched you, like I said, just being able to like take that responsibility full esteem. Like I said, you know, I know you didn't take it lightly. I know they might have thought or said certain things about you, but that's what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely give you a hand for just making sure you for everything that you did, everything that you brought to the community. Like I said, we didn't have, and still at this point, as far as I know, don't have that type of service that's going on right now. And like I said, and that was one of the biggest things, especially said for those who are looking to improve their health, because that's the big thing in regards to like health, overall wellness, especially with mental wellness as well. Like, what are you putting in your body? And you know, you was a huge service to the community. I was mental too. I mean, like I tell people, if you're not losing a pound every 72 hours, you're doing something wrong. Call me. We get on the phone. Sometimes it was just on the phone of like let's get with it. What do we need to talk about to get you back on track? Because it was more mental. Something going on in life, you know. Right. And I would teach them like, hey, here's how we fight it. But now sometimes when I'm going to eating dinner or whatever, I'm like, I just don't feel like eating that. No, and I mentally don't think I can. And, well, now I get it, you know. Now I get that there's life stressors, and they affect how you eat and how you feel and how you move. 100%. That's one thing that I guess one of the biggest things that shocked me as well. You know, I didn't once I had, like, just a perfect upbringing of anything in that store, but I had never got to the point that I was so stressed or depressed that it affected, like, how I eat it or, like, my physical appearance or anything of that sort. But, you know, it got there, and, you know, it is what it is, like I said, but it made me get a more of appreciation of, like I said, what goes in my body, because I know everything works functionally together. I know, like I said, even now moving forward where you're at, we got Twisted Dough now. So, you know, you got to the point, obviously, that you did clothes, Twisted Food, and then you start moving into the next chapter of your life. You know, what is this next chapter looking for you right now? Now it's good. I only took 3 days off when all that happened. Because remember, I ain't got no staff. I had to fire everybody. Right. And I had to fire everybody so everybody could get COVID pay, right? Because that's just what it was. So that was like the ultimate walk of shame. I think I'll be 90 years old and remember that walk, you know, because I had to walk from one building to the other when I'd officially decided. We called a meeting, and everybody, I think, knew. But, you know, we called that meeting, and I had to look upon 40 people. You know, I hadn't even got to tell the national people. I'm like, I'm going to at least drive back and tell them in person, you know. And so I just told that crew, like, I know you got to know, it was the worst speech of my life. But there was this one girl I guess we had just hired. I had no clue, like 3 days. And she went, so I don't really know any of y'all. Can I go? And she, like, lightened the whole mood. The whole room was like, she just, like, laid her soul out on the line. And she's like, can I go? Because she's like, I ain't getting paid. You're like, and so what I ended up doing was a dear friend let me borrow a loan and was like, you can pay me back one day or you don't have to. Gotcha. And he paid 1 week of their paychecks because Cade paid us by 2. Gotcha. So I just took out a loan and was like, I'll forever owe this debt, whatever. And then my promise to them was, I will sue Cade, and if I'm ever to see anything, it's yours. I love it. And so that was like what I did. And people were like, oh, she wouldn't pay my $300 paycheck. It was $40,000 for me. So trust me.
Please don't say your paycheck and bash me on social media because you don't know what it did to me, which that debt has been paid in full. So Twisted Dough is doing good. I had 3 days. Well, 3 days. 3 days that I took off. Everybody was so good to me because I think everybody kind of seen the downhill spiral of Cade and had red flags and all this weird stuff. So landlord's like, get out when you can. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Some of my staff was like, I ain't got nothing to do. You want me to make dough?
I love it.
And so then we just like, let's put it on social media. What happened? Like all that can happen is they'll either promote, support you, or you'll make ends meet barely. But it took off pretty fast. I mean, like.
Was the dough already part of like Twisted Food? Or
yeah.
Okay, got you.
It was just something we served in there, so we just turned it into its own business.
Got you.
And ran with it because, I mean, I could have cooked anything that we cooked.
Right.
But that was kind of like a hobby a college kid had started 6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And for some reason, we never made its own business.
That's
Thank
crazy.
the Lord now.
Most definitely.
So, yeah, everybody came and scooped dough and stayed. My general manager stayed for like 4 weeks. My dad came back and was like, well, I mean, I'm retiring at this point. I'm not going back to work. So he's like, I'll help you get back on your feet, whatever you need. And
right.
so we moved to another location that we're here still now at manufacturing out of. And I would just go into work and cry and scoop dough.
That's what I was just about to say. How is it, you know, like I said, after going through something like that, how is it getting integrating yourself back into the environment?
Not good.
Yeah, right?
I could not have gone back into normal society. I'm still not good enough to say, if you told me today I lost Twisted Dough, I have a nursing degree. I couldn't go back into normal society again.
Right.
I don't think I could take comments just in normal society.
Right.
I don't think I could work for somebody again. You know, I don't think I could go to work and be good for a solid 8 hours. Am I most of the time? Yes, because I'm self-motivated by like my consumers and, you know, my staff. My staff are 5 of the same Twisted Foods people. They all were like, you hiring yet? Can I come back? And they were all my long-term people. You know, the people that said stuff, I was like, you were there 3 weeks or 6 months. Like, why is my person that's been here 6 years, 5 years, 3 years, why are they all still with me?
Right.
You know, and they're all the back. So I have my GM, my cook, and he now scoops dough. He never thought he would. I got my line manager, and he makes it, and we just got a full staff. It's really cool. So, yeah. I
love it.
I could not go back into normal.
No, I can imagine. Like I said, that's one thing about me, and I'm just being fully transparent. That was just a tough, just being able to like get back in public, especially when in regards to like a work setting. Because like I said, when you've been an entrepreneur, like out on your own so long and working for yourself, it's kind of like one, you kind of know too much at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't be easily fooled by some of the techniques or tactics that certain companies use and what to keep you make you a good work and everything like that. So that was one of the things. But also, like you said, just seeing, you know, the public, being back in the public eye, just seeing interaction with different people in a different setting, they expect you to be, they see you one way, and that's all they see you as. No matter what, no matter what, if I saw you as a nurse, I would always see you as Twisted Foods Rose Hankins. So for me, it was one of those things that I had to kind of really check myself and see, is it, am I embarrassed, or is it that I just don't want to answer these questions, or do I have like a certain level of pride that I'm like keeping to myself that I don't want to swallow because, you know, I don't want to be the person that, you know, rose to the top and fall. You know what I mean? Those are the biggest things that you hear a lot of people, because people expect you to fail to a certain extent when you're an entrepreneur. I heard this one story. I met this one guy in Dallas one time. He was telling me about, I told him a little bit about my story, basically how like I lost like my real estate and everything and whatnot. And he was telling me like, man, he's like, you was out there giving away your bricks or whatnot. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was saying that, you know, every day you was out there building your castle up, and you were putting your bricks down, you know, each day. When he said in the beginning, no one was coming because nobody could see it off a distance or whatnot. But you would just keep building bricks or whatever. Then finally, the first person, they saw it off a distance and they came, they said, oh, let me borrow a brick. And me being how I am, I'm like, all right, yeah, here you go. You can have a brick or whatnot. Let me keep building. And after a while, somebody saw him past him and saw, where you get that brick from? He's like, oh, Moody's giving away bricks up there. So he went, he goes back. And then other people giving a brick. So after a while, I had gave so many of my bricks away. So I was not good managing my money at all. Like I said, when you said that about stressful with money, like I was too quick to just throw money at it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, yeah, here you go, here you go, here you go. And then one day I looked up, I had no bricks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I couldn't build nothing else at that point. And I'm looking for some people to bring those bricks back for me. But then it got to the point that I was too ashamed to like actually go back in town and ask for those bricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or be around a place where I can like earn bricks like I did the first time for my own castle. But I couldn't because I was too afraid to just being seen as like the king going back down in the village and like asking people to build the castle because they weren't there the first time either to help me build it. They just came afterwards. So for me, it was one of those things that I wanted to know. For you, did you feel like you got to the point that you felt like you gave so much away in a certain sense of regard, even if it was like out of your control, that you didn't want to even go back to the point to even ask for it? Because like I said, asking for money, like I said, you don't want to, like, you had to take loans. Like, you're going to need some type of help or whatnot, but it's like so hard to go ask for those bricks. Did you ever feel like you were too prideful to like ask for that help?
That's a good one. Being stripped of your title, you know, people only see you as that. Those were the same questions I asked myself. I just can't go back to nursing. Well, I can't go back to nursing because people make fun of me because I was an entrepreneur, and then they can just say I failed. That was the biggest thing. I did not want people to say, we knew you'd fail.
Right.
We knew. So if I did anything else besides entrepreneur, somebody's going to have something to say about it. Right. So my whole goal was like, no, I'm going to do this again on my own. I don't care. I don't care if I can barely pay my bills. I was not afraid to ask for help. I had great loved ones. I could do that. Right. Somebody let me live with them, save all my money all year to do whatever. If I made money, if I didn't make money, I was welcome to live there another year. Luckily, I made money. So I wasn't afraid to ask, but I'm not afraid to ask for help from the people that I really, truly entrust. There's not many of them anymore, right? Like, right. I learned the older I get, really, like, your 3 to 6 people.
Tight.
That's it. Tight. That's enough.
Very much.
I don't feel bad. I learned with Twisted Foods a long time ago. I can't feel bad for asking for help anymore.
Right.
Because I need help every day. Can you plate this? Can you do this? That's not my job. Okay, I didn't ask you. I'm just telling you. Get down that line and put some vegetables in the box.
Word.
They want broccoli. Thank you.
They over there. She's such a bitch. I don't
yeah. I'm just like, so I know. Asking for help was not hard for me, but it got to the point. Yes, I'd given so much emotionally, mentally away from me. I always put how anybody felt. If they came in and their daughter was sick all night and they were in a really bad mood, it didn't matter if my dog died. I was going to be in a better mood so they had a better day, because if my people weren't having a good day, nobody was having a good day, including myself. So I was the only one allowed to be in a bad mood, but most of the time I could at least hide it. Right. So I got really good at hiding it. And when I did this journey, I said, I'm not hiding shit. Right. If I'm having a bad day, I'm crying. Right. If I'm having a good day, we're going to be joyful. Now, I'm not allowed to be mean. We're not allowed to argue. Right. And we are definitely going to communicate. No, we had so much miscommunication, which the whole world does now, I realize. Nobody will sit through a full conversation. If we got in an argument, you're going to get up and walk out, or you're going to, whatever, or you're going to be like, you're wrong. Right. But instead of just saying, you know what, hang on. You might be right. Let me think about it. Let me put myself in your shoes. I could see it from your point.
That's definitely not me. You might be right. I'm a big walk away.
Yeah.
My storm off game is strong. Like, you feel that when I walk off. I'm like kicking dust and everything.
But everybody does that. In work settings, oh my God, it was terrible. And I got to see that over and over and over with every staff member. Instead of sitting through the conversation of, you're in trouble, you're going to be fired, let's end on a good note. I still have to fire you. Right. But we can still sit here and have that conversation. So that was one promise I made to myself was, you're going to have full conversations as long as they will stay. I love it. And you're going to see both sides. Like, even if they are in the wrong, I can go, So some people did a lot of meth at Twisted Foods once.
What?
The Nashville workers, and they terrorized. You don't even know the stories I got. They terrorized the hotel room. I get woke up in Nashville that this has happened at like 6 in the morning. And I'm like, what do I do? So I'm like, I have to. Most people... What are you going to do in that situation? What are you going to do as the boss in that situation?
You're going to fire if you're doing like
you just going to walk up to him and say, you're fired?
Oh, shoot, I guess so. I mean, damn, you just really hit me with that. Wait, first of all, if somebody you find out they're doing meth, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to fire them on the spot, right? Damn, you really just hit me. Dang, I don't know.
Are you? Because there's a lot of cards that people play nowadays. So I'm like, let me
check my moral card this then. I'm telling you, so I'm like,
how do I approach this? Well, here's your first step of practice. Because I got tested a lot in Nashville. I bring them down to the Twisted Foods office in Jonesboro, and I'm on the phone because I'm 4 hours away, and my staff's like, I'm not dealing with this. And I'm like, set them down. And I'm like, hey, guys. Granted, there's pictures, so they terrorized the hotel room. So I can't really get out of it. But I'm like, hey, guys, I know this is going to be a really difficult conversation for not only you, for me too. But I want you to sit through it. This is calm as I was. I want you to sit through it, and I'm not mad at you. If this is the choices you want to make in life, like, I'm not going to support you anymore because they were a whole story crew. They broke down on the way, had to pay to get their car fixed to get them here. They had a wreck while they're here, had to pay to tow it. And this was like third straw. And I'm like, I can't pay for your bad behavior anymore, but we do have to let you go. And just please leave the facility as quietly and nicely as you can because this was just a little extreme. Well, they just went and lost it. Because it's that walk-off card. Because nobody's wrong. And how about we're all wrong, you know?
Right.
In all situations, in one way or another.
Especially the meth person.
We could all handle it a little bit different, right? And I'm like, that was my best go. And they just, like, lost it. So this was a funny thing. When they left, this is one of Cade's red flags. They called the cops and told them they got abducted in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Well, that's some good. You know what?
I tell you, and they were going to arrest Cade that day. And I was like, what the... And he was all mad at me that night, and he didn't even tell me this, okay? And then he told me that they had called on him. And I'm like, okay, but you can communicate with me. I'm sorry you had a bad day. I didn't know, you know. I did the best I could, you know. But just crazy scenario situations. You just got to go back, sit down, and have the conversation. People that hated me, we sat down and we had that conversation. And now we're friends. Now, yes, I wish they hadn't have done that because that hurt. I mean, that's something that will carry with me. You know, so that's another like question I have to ask myself. What are people saying about me? So I don't want to go in public just because. Unless you want to sit down and have the conversation with me, I'll be glad to do that.
But that's the thing. A lot of people don't want to sit down and have that conversation, especially to that certain extent, like I said, because it takes a lot of, like, you know, owning up to shit. And people don't want to own up to anything, especially even if it's obvious they don't want to own up to it. But it is what it is. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like you definitely handled that well. I see now that I wasn't even sure how I even would have handled it. I would have just been in there more shocked than anything.
That's why most people are like behind that screen doing
this.
I'm like, put yourself in real life. Now say that.
Right,
you probably couldn't. You can't be mean to somebody you know. Most when I go there at situation, I want to just yell, "You're fired. Get the out of here." But that's not really how it goes, you know.
It doesn't. Not in real life. It just depends, though. I'm not even sure. Like I said, you definitely checked me in that point. I'm not sure how to handle it. But I'm definitely be thinking about this all night for us. Like, how would I fire somebody on meth? What would I do? They could have been dropping it in the twist. Is that why the food was so good?
Yeah, they might have been spiking it for about 4 months.
Put the ice in. Put the icing on it.
It was so good. I told y'all natural energy.
No, my God. Most definitely, man. Well, I definitely want to thank you for definitely coming in. And like I said, Sharon, we're going to have to do a part 2 because we definitely got more we can tap into. Before I let you go, though, I want you to give the viewers one thing, just a little bit of advice, especially on an entrepreneur setting. And everybody's out there because that's kind of the wave right now. I see a lot of people who are taking that step out to, like, be business owners on their own, be entrepreneurs. And like I said, it comes with a lot that a lot of people don't think it comes with. A lot of people think it's just, let me open a business, let me get an LLC, let me do this, and then boom, we good to go.
And the money just comes in.
And the money just come in. So what kind of advice would you give to someone who is looking to get into the field of entrepreneurship, or if they're already there, in regards to, like, making sure they still have a certain type of attention to their mental health?
Ooh. Everybody always says take time to yourself.
Right.
But you can't do that when you're an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
But that is still something. Last night I got to the point I've had a lot of anxiety lately, and I was literally having some chest pain. I'm like, okay, 11 o'clock, I'll shut down.
I saw that. I'm not even going to lie. I saw you on your story. I said, she better not be coming here acting with this, oh, I can't make it because I'm having a bad day.
No, but you check yourself. So really, the advice that everybody always gives me, Rose, you got to make time for yourself. Just clock out at 5 o'clock. You don't get to do that as an entrepreneur. Right. You know that. But no matter what it is, for me, it was like, get back my exercise this year. Whatever makes you, because everybody for everything could be eating burgers. It could be exercising. It could be doing a podcast. It could be dancing around in your living room. It could be running up and down the road screaming. Whatever it is, go do that. And for me, to get my juju back at any point, it's just go exercise, run it out. I got into yoga a lot this year. We pride on healthy is the new sexy. However you feel inside is however you're going to feel outside. And if you feel good, no matter what you look like, if you feel good, you sexy.
Exactly.
If you feel good, you're healthy. So whatever that is, it doesn't matter anymore. You know, I'm like, Now, yeah, don't eat burgers 3 times a day, every meal a day. But if that's what makes you 2 times a week and you feel really good about it, go do the damn thing.
That sounded so weird coming out your mouth talking about eat burgers, knowing your
know.
background. I don't even know what kind of Twilight
Now,
Zone
just
we're living in.
cheat meals. I'm like, I want to go have a drink. Yes, I do. Would love to do that. Before. I'm gonna clock out right now, and I'll do the rest of these bills in the morning. And I'm gonna go sit and have a dinner with a drink. I never did that for 6 years. I never went out for dinner. Never went out for dinner.
I believe it.
So, like, that's been my thing this year. I'm like, I can go out to dinner.
I love it.
Anybody want to go to dinner and have a drink?
Hey, I'm always down. Make sure you holler at your boy. Most definitely, man. Let's make sure you give you a hand real quick, man. I want to thank you for coming out, yo, man.
Thank you.
We're going to take another quick break real quick, and then when we come back, we got none other than Kyra performing live. This is Moody Wuz Here. We'll be back in here in just, whenever I say we'll be back, y'all have a... Yo, y'all know what it is. The one and only Moody Wuz Here. And yes, we got Kyra in the building and with none other than her single, Betta Days.
I literally just wrote this song like 3 weeks ago, so y'all the first lucky people to hear it. But just know if you're ever having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, there's always better days to come.
They say life is short, so you gotta live it up. People dying, people changing up. I don't know who to trust, who to love, but I'm trying to run it up. I got in my bag, now it ain't no looking back. It's a cold world, if you ain't strong then you might crack. Know this life ain't easy, but you gotta feel me when I say it's gonna work out. I can't figure out the words to say, the words to say, but know everything's gonna be okay, be okay. I can't figure out the words to say, the words to say, but know everything's gonna be okay. Wait for better days. Better days, better days, better days, better days, better days. They like what you looking sad for now. If you want it, then go get it, gotta make you proud. Can't let no one get in the way of your dreaming now. Turn nothing into something, have them asking how did she get there? Don't even know you, they try to control you, but anything is possible. Know this life ain't easy, but you gotta feel me when I say it's gonna work out. I can't figure out the words to say, the words to say, but know everything's gonna be okay, be okay. I can't figure out the words to say, the words to say, but know everything's gonna be okay. Wait for better days, better days, better days, better days, better days, better days.
Thank you.
Hey, y'all make some noise for Kyra, man. She definitely did her thing real quick. Oh man, before we go, man, I want to appreciate y'all. Man, I want to thank everybody for coming out, man. I appreciate Rose Hankins coming out. Thank Kyra coming out, man. Y'all know what it is. Moody Wuz Here. Before we go, I wanted to show you this shirt I made. As you might can tell, I do dabble in art a little bit, and I made this shirt a little bit after hearing about your story and everything. This is one of my favorite shirts to wear around Jonesboro. That's the 1.4 mil shirt. That's how much it's going to be worth one day when we get that settlement, man. Y'all know what it is. Moody Wuz Here, man. I'll see y'all next time, and next time I see y'all. But in the meantime, between time, y'all know what it is. Follow, like, comment, and subscribe. Moody Wuz Here on all social media platforms. It's the one and only Moody. Y'all be easy.
And boom, you got dessert. And all you have to do, you just mix up your dough.
Boom.
And you have dessert ready to go.
Ready to roll.
Ready to roll. And there's 80 grams of protein in that right there.
Woo! Ooh! Ooh! I'm with it.
That's right.
Oh, I love it. This is perfect right here. So we just put it in the refrigerator and everything ready to go at any
Ready
time.
to go. You can take it with you. It's got shelf life. You can just carry it to the gym. Some people pre-workout, post-workout. Some people just eat it on the go.
Really?
Instead of going into a gas station. Because you got 10 servings if you do it by 2 tablespoons, right? Because there's 10 grams for every 2 tablespoons. Or some people are like, I just smashed the whole jar. But you got 80 then. So yeah, so that's
gluten-free?
All gluten-free. It's what we're known for.
I love
gluten-free,
it.
high protein, low, no sugar. You only added your own sugar and you get to pick that choice.
I'm with it.
Or you buy one of our pre-made flavors and we keep the sugars around 6.
So many ingredients.
So many ingredients. And that's just one of 17.
One of 17?
You pick 2. Yeah, you pick 2. Isn't that crazy?
That's super crazy.
Yeah.
Dang. This is perfect. I love this. What would you say the most secret ingredient is?
Love. You see, I didn't let you make the base because the base is made with love. And love's how you make dessert. Right?
I mean, if that's what they say. I mean, this is my first time in the kitchen, but I mean, if we want to go there, I mean, we can say that, but I mean...
Dessert is made with love.
Okay,
I have a pinch here, a splash there, a little droppity drop there, and that is
how you make it.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Twisted dough right here. We just made it. Moody Wuz Here making dough with love. And of course with Rose.
That's right.
Love and Rose is all you need.
I love it. Perfect.
Perfect. That was
good.
That really is good.
Ain't good?
Oh yeah.
I got you a few touches too. You take dessert dough.